I want you to take a look at this video, ladies and gentlemen. Inside Cameroon yesterday, during the protest, this is what a Cameroonian police officer was captured on video doing to a young Cameroonian who joined in the protest against the election results, ladies and gentlemen. Against Paul Biya for being in office for 43 years and being given another nod by the Cameroonian Electoral Commission to continue in power for another 7 years, ladies and gentlemen. This is what happened, folks, and today it will continue. And while you watch this video, as an African, I want you to ask yourself this important question. Whose side are the security forces of Cameroon on, if I may ask you? Whose side is this particular police officer on? Does he see anything wrong with the decade of years Paul Biya has been in office, ladies and gentlemen? Does he have a mind of his own? Does he benefit from the regime that has kept the country down all these years? Or is he simply doing his job to secure a paycheck, ladies and gentlemen? This man, as shown in the video, is writing history, and I hope he knows it. He's writing history alongside all his comrades in uniforms. They are together being a part of a history, choosing the side of tyranny and oppression against freedom and liberty, ladies and gentlemen. He and the rest of the crew, unfortunately, have chosen to secure their paycheck instead of securing the nation's interests. And it's so hard to watch. In his mind, he believes he is on the right side of history, and beating up this kid is the right thing to do. In his mind, he believes these arrests and beatings will be a strong enough lesson to tame the youth of Cameroon. But what he doesn't know is that, ladies and gentlemen, it's only going to get worse with how the youth will watch these videos and be charged in their reactions. He doesn't know that the era of intimidation and tyranny is gone, and people aren't as docile and uninformed like it was in the past. He is clearly fighting on the wrong side of history, and that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I have dedicated this episode as a letter to the security forces of Cameroon, and I hope they see it. I am a Ghanaian and non-Cameroonian, and shouldn't therefore be meddling in Cameroonian affairs. I understand that. But I'm fortunate to be an African and a person who has so much love for this continent, including Cameroon. And so, based on that, I believe my voice should be heard in my attempt to comment on the situation in Cameroon. First of all, I know you have a job to do as a police officer and a nation to protect. I know you receive command from above, and it's determined for you by order to follow through with instructions from above. I understand that completely. But I also know you are a Cameroonian first, and then an officer. I know you have a conscience of your own and a family, and therefore, you wouldn't want to destroy the same country and the people you are trying to protect. Hence, this is my message to you. Be guided in your actions towards your people. Already, the world doesn't love us. Let's be honest with ourselves. They don't see us for the humans we are. The only people that can love us is ourselves. And therefore, don't be the security officer who goes down in history as the one who tried to do everything possible for the regime that oppressed the people for 43 years. Don't allow yourself to enter into history as the person who stood in the way of change when the Cameroonian people were crying for it. You have done enough for Paul Biya. You have done enough for his regime and the people that have benefited for all these many years. It's enough. At some point, you just have to do what's right by your people. And I believe that time is now. Don't you know the destiny of Cameroon is at stake in this, ladies and gentlemen? And this is to them, the security officers. The future of these young people you see in the video are people who fear for their future looking at the way Paul Biya is misleading the country. They see what others are enjoying elsewhere in other countries, and they know they can have it the same way in Cameroon, but they see the old man standing in the way. They want opportunities and structures in place that can propel their effort in life. They want a promising future, and that's why they are there. Ladies and gentlemen, they know they can die or be arrested or be exposed to injuries in this protest, but yet they have chosen to make it there. You don't think these youngsters are brave? Look, many of them are jobless and therefore hopeless. They have no means of making money and living a decent life. Meanwhile, they see the president and the people associated with him live a completely different lifestyle to theirs. This is what makes people protest. Therefore, my question to you is this: who should you have been protecting? Is it the old man and the regime that has had 43 years of unaccountable leadership and rendered the country broke? Or the people, the young people who are desperate for a better life and are voicing out in a protest? On whose side should you be when you know from the start that Paul Biya had stolen the election even before it started? You knew it already. You knew the outcome of the elections even before it started. This is a fact. So, who should you have been protecting, ladies and gentlemen? Your leaders will tell you to meet them with the harshest response, but you don't have to, because you are just like them. You aren't a part of the ruling class. Don't be fooled, ladies and gentlemen. You aren't. They are only using you as useful idiots to maintain the structures they've built to protect themselves and their interests. And whenever they are done using you, they will dump you and move on to the next. They are giving you such harsh orders because Paul Biya is terrified of losing power. Listen to what I just said, Cameroonian security forces. Your leaders are giving you direct, brute orders to implement that may end up killing or hurting a lot of people and jailing others, not because they have something special planned out to develop the country, but because Paul Biya is terrified of losing his grip on power. All he cares about is his status as president. His cronies only care for the system they've created. It has nothing to do with building a prosperous society for all in Cameroon. Therefore, be wise and don't be gullible. Don't be a useful idiot. The applause around the world is directed towards people who made a difference and brought about change. It has never been about the people who kept other people in bondage. Therefore, be wise and be guided in every action you take against your fellow brothers, for the world is watching. Paul Biya has no bearing on anything development in Cameroon again. There is nothing he's coming to do which he couldn't have done in the 43 years, ladies and gentlemen. He isn't the future of Cameroon. Therefore, you are fighting on the wrong side of history. This video, ladies and gentlemen, is only an appeal to you, the security forces of Cameroon, whether to the Cameroonian army or the police service. This is to you. The people are many and their lives are important. 30 million in number. They need the protection, the people. They need better future. They have waited for 43 years for this day. Don't deny this change. The world is watching. Africa is watching. There is nobody out there who is in support of BS continuity. Nobody, no country, none. He needs to go and rest and babysit his great-grandchildren. Cameroon, however, must start again on a clean slate and dissolve all the current structures and build a new one based on merit, patriotism, and development for all. That can never be achieved under Paul Biya or anyone he introduces. His era is gone like yesterday, and that's where it must be. Therefore, stand up for what is just and right at all times, and let history remember you as the man or the man for the people. I hope someone translate this video in a language they can understand. I rest my case. My name is Cyrus of Tuntum Network in Accra. Be sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell for all of my videos. I'll see you in the next one. May God help us all. It is bye-bye for now.